Hi there, guys. Stark here. So today I wanted to do a bit of an unscripted impression on the news that came out yesterday. So yesterday, as I'm looking at it right now, yesterday Sony and Naughty Dog announced that they would do a Last of Us 2 Master. It's coming out on the first. Pardon me, sorry, that's American. That's American. The American and the British format is completely different. The 19th of January 2024. So, looking at the details here, Last of Us Part 2 Remastered coming to PS5 on January 19th, 2020. The team at Naughty Dog is excited to announce The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, definitive way to experience the acclaimed Last of Us sequel, originally released in 2020. Now, that's key. That date is key. 2020. 3 years ago. Right, okay. We're thrilled to confirm you won't have to wait for it long either. Players can jump into Ellie and Abby's emotional journeys on the PS5 console on January 19th, 2024. You can already do that. The game got released in the launch window of the PS5, and I'm pretty sure this was one of the first sort of games to have a free 60 frames per second sort of upgrade. I think it enabled it to run at like 1440p, 60 frames per second or something. The game still today looks incredible, right? It still looks brilliant. So let's move on. Whether you've already played and even platinumed The Last of Us Part 2 on PlayStation 4, or have recently jumped into The Last of Us Part 1 on PS5 and want to continue the story, Part 2 Remastered will offer plenty of reasons for new and returning players to revisit a story that means so much to our studio. I like how they've sort of skipped over. They've said if you've played it on a PlayStation 4 console or have recently played The Last of Us Part 1 on PS5, they've completely skipped over the fact that they've done a free upgrade for the PlayStation 5 already. They've doubled the frame rate, right? I'll continue to read this and then we'll get to the trailer and then my thoughts on the entire situation. This game, but Naughty Dog and Sony in general. The engrossing campaign returns alongside technological improvement, new modes, behind the scenes features, deepen your understanding of Part 2's creation. But before we break down what's in store, take a look at our announcement trailer below. So I'm gonna get this up. I think most YouTubers would be scared to. No, I am not a child. Let's have a look at this. Get it full screen.
I don't know what happened. I was supposed to take her to the Firefly.
1440p.
Because of her,
Sorry.
they were actually going to make a cure. The only catch. Sweet Jesus.
Doctor? What are you doing in here?
It would kill her.
Even if we found her, or by some miracle found someone else that's immune, it'd make no difference. Because the only person who could develop a vaccine is dead.
No! No! I know all the leads have dried up, but Joel's still out there, you know?
We're gonna have to run!
Why don't you say whatever speech you got rehearsed? Get this over with.
You don't get to rush.
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't. You know what's really starting to piss me off with this current generation, right? It's really starting to wind me up. Yeah, is that the entire gaming industry at the moment just seems fucking creatively bankrupt. And when I say that, there are plenty of amazing games coming out this year, particularly, right? 2000, I think 2023 in a way has come at a time to sort of gloss over a lot of the issues that I think in coming years. But the way this generation has gone, the quality of the now again, we've had good games, not less so on Xbox side of things. They're really crying out for a decent title. I mean, Starfield was okay. it was okay. But after the fucking barren spell that they had, they needed a 10 out of 10 sell your mum for this video game kind of title. Do you know what I mean? Like sell your kids. You know, to lose your job. You need, you know, after the barren spell that they had, they needed something to that magnitude. They didn't get that. Forza, while it's a good game, solid title, it's not as good as the other games in the series. And I think I think people were wondering what was going on with sort of in the. I think Forza Motorsport has been ruined by Horizon, the Horizon series. Playground Games has taken that title and simply put, they've done a better job with it than Turn 10 have. I think the Horizon series, for not sorry to sort of bring Xbox into this sort of conversation. Like I say, it's Unscripted. I don't know if you guys can probably tell by my body language, but I'm pissed off. So a lot of this is probably going to be incoherent. So I apologise for that. But I've got to sort of give context. Xbox, you know, Xbox or Xbox fans, they'll know this particular year, and obviously they'll get absolutely slated for decisions that Microsoft made, and rightly so. Rightly so. Starfield wasn't good enough. Forza wasn't good enough. Redfall wasn't good enough. Okay. But why are we letting Sony get away with this shit? Remastering a game that's only 3 years old. Meanwhile, they're going probably through the most barren spell of first-party titles of any sort of console generation. And I don't know if people realise this, because everyone's quick enough to call out Xbox, or you know, it's pretty. Xbox is just a fucking whipping dog. Basically, they're just a dog to in the gaming industry. Take your frustration out, basically. But this isn't good enough. There's been one that I don't think you guys have realised. There's been so they released this back in 2020, right? Naughty Dog. Okay, you could probably expect Naughty Dog to release a title, and I'm not saying obviously games are getting harder to make, games are costing more money, so I'm not saying that a game studio has to release a game every sort of like 4 or 5 years, right? But it's been 3 years and we've heard nothing other than just go over to this other this other tab, Factions, the multiplayer game that was supposed to launch alongside or just after Last of Us 2. Leaker came out back in October. Leaker has bad news for those looking forward to Last of Us multiplayer game. Well-known leaker sadly confirms the cancellation of the Last of Us multiplayer game, dashing fans' hope for a tie-in. First game had a popular multiplayer mode called Factions Multiplayer, creating high expectations for a multiplayer mode in the sequel. Stuart Anon, I mean, I've never personally heard of him, but you know, saying he's got a reliable record. So he's got a reliable track record, and there's also leaked news about The Last of Us Part 3 development and voice cast changes, right? So and again, this is purely conjecture and this is opinion, right? But what it looks like is due to Jim Ryan, who thankfully, God forbid, well, I mean, touch wood, he's done come back, or you know, things change after he's gone. This whole obsession about multiplayer and live action services, it's unhealthy. It's been shown that it's unsuccessful. Seriously, can you really, other than maybe one or two examples of a live action game, so the ones that come straight to my head are mostly MMORPGs, right? They're technically live action games. Got World of Warcraft, profitable. Don't know about it at the minute, but it has been. Elder Scrolls Online, sure, that's profitable. That's one of the biggest ones, and things like Guild Wars, etc. They're mainly aimed at PC, right? So the amount of PCs in the world and things like that, it's that's the home of MMORPG. Right? But if we're talking about console live service, Destiny. That's it, and even that is obviously with Bungie obviously recently laying off a load of staff, and then it coming out that they're putting the prices up for certain things. I know they got bought by Sony, and they assumed that due to the extra budget that they were looking to get from Sony Studios and obviously investment like that, I think they were hoping to see improvements. It's gone the opposite way. They've gone down shitter, getting worse. So even the most successful success story of live action whatever the fuck you call it, live service games, right? the most successful example still comes with a big asterisk, a big but. It's, you know, it's not been plain sailing, and then you've got the 100,000 other live service games that come out. That was Anthem, dead within 6 months. They kept it on live support with a small dev team for about a year after that, but eventually they said, "Nah, none of this." What else? Avengers, the Marvel game. That's another big example of live service games just do not work. Overwatch has gone down shitter. Diablo 4, obviously it got critically well reviewed and things like that, but it's had a rough when it comes to the live service elements. It's had a rough start. People were not happy that they had to create a brand new character per season and things like that to grind. Again, I played Diablo 4 through, but what I'm trying to get at is the industry just seems so hell-bent on forcing companies with a track record. Naughty Dog has a track record in what? Single player, action adventure, story driven titles. Right? And they've dabbled a tiny bit. One game, so Last of Us, they dabbled in it a little bit, but Uncharted, Last of Us, and obviously they made a few titles before that, but they're known for Uncharted, Last of Us. Those two franchises if take those franchises away that Naughty Dog produced, where does that leave PlayStation now? In the PS3 era and then the PS4, where does that leave them? Obviously, I know that these are all hypotheticals, but do you know what I mean? That's what they're known for. That's what they're good at. I don't go to Subway to buy a fucking Big Mac. You know what I'm saying? I don't. So why you thought it feels to me as though Sony are forcing, not only have they bought Bungie to churn out live service bollocks, they're forcing the other studios to incorporate those elements as well. It's not, and to the remaster itself, right? So I've obviously dabbled, raged in, like I say, I'm just angry. I'm angry that there's one standard for one company at the minute, and then a completely other standard for Sony. They're just getting away with murder at the moment. Really starting to wind me up, because the future of console gaming in general, I don't see the reason in owning a console at the moment. I've got a PC and I've got a PlayStation. Don't own an Xbox. I did, but for me, there's no reason to own an Xbox if you've got a PC. There's 0 point. There's no point. I get a better experience and I get the exclusive day and date on PC anyway. So why would I buy an Xbox? Obviously, Xbox is there. I'm not saying you should go out and spend thousands of pounds on a PC. Don't buy an Xbox. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that there's not really much of a reason for me personally to have an Xbox. But now I'm looking at the PlayStation and I'm like, right, okay. How many games have I actually played this year on PlayStation? 2, I think. 2. Final Fantasy 16 and Spider-Man 2, right? But just to sort of cover this remaster a little bit. This game came out 3 years ago, and obviously we just watched a little bit of the announced trailer that I could bet. I'm going to try and be fair, because I know YouTube compression, it sort of affects the quality and things like that. If they're depending on the bit rate and all that technical jargon or whatever, I know it affects things. But is there any you guys go watch it, come back to this video, comment down below if you think, is there any fucking difference between the two notable? The resolution might be slightly higher, the frame rate might be slightly more consistent. Right, okay. Oh, but Stark, it's only £10 to upgrade. Right, okay, right. That's a good thing, because that should have been the remake, right? The Last of Us Part 1. They should have done something similar for that, but they didn't. It, like, no, pay us £70 and you're not getting nothing, right? Okay, fair enough. And then it's 70. This is going to be 70 quid for newcomers, right? So you can probably pick up, I don't know, how much is the last? Let's get another tap up. How much is Last of Us Part 2 now? Last of Us 2, right? Part 2. How much is that? So we go to shop in Google. Obviously, it's going to be right. So you can pick it up £19.95. 20. You can pick it up for 20 quid on Amazon, right? So 20 quid on Amazon. Now there's going to be additional features. There's going to be, like I said, direct. I think the note is going to be like director commentary and things like that. And then there's going to be other little bonuses, like nifty outfits and. It's not even going to scratch the surface, man. It's going to be a slight up-res. going to be slightly more stable frame rate, and then that's it. £70. So even the people coming, so what Sony are asking people is, you're new to the PlayStation 5 platform and you've not played a 3-year-old game that you can get for £20 brand new from Amazon. You want to slightly pay £70 because you know for a fact they ain't going to promote the fucking the thing that, like I said, they've take what's the word in here? What's the word in here? Whether you've already played or platinumed The Last of Us Part 2 on PlayStation 4 console or have recently played The Last of Us Part 1 on PS5, that's misleading people for me. You're not. It's if people are, because obviously people who spend the time on YouTube and gaming forums and things like that, they're probably a little bit more clued on than the average consumer, right? So I would like to think so. Sometimes I don't know, but you would like to think so. So, you know, Dad's walking into the shop, or little Jimmy. Right, little Jimmy wants to play The Last of Us because, or maybe Daddy Jimmy wants to play The Last of Us. Right, okay, right. Oh, but I'm looking at this and it's got to get the remaster because it's The Last of Us Part 2 and stuff like that. And you guys might be thinking, why would someone do that? Everyone should know that Last of Us Part 2, the PlayStation 4 version, has been up-resed and it's all got a 60 FPS patch and you can just buy that one. Normal people aren't going to fucking know that. Do you know what I mean? So they're counting on people's ignorance and sort of lack of knowledge on this thing to say, oh no, well if you've played Last of Us Part 1 on PS5 or you've played the second one on PlayStation 4 console, we're slyly keeping out the fact that you can get a 60 FPS version of The Last of Us Part 2 for fucking £20 brand new. No. £70, please. £70. For a slightly better experience, just a little bit, right? Okay, it's fucking stupid, man. And maybe this would be okay, right? So this comes to my next point. Maybe this would be okay if Naughty Dog or the other studios other than Insomniac, I God forbid the amount of pressure at the minute that's on Insomniac at the moment. They're the only developers at the minute that Sony have that are actually doing anything, right? And we'll get to this. And I don't think people get sort of distracted by Sony because they get third-party exclusives. Like I said, I played 2 games this year. Final Fantasy 16, not a Sony exclusive. You can guarantee that will be coming to Xbox next year because they were disappointed in the sales, and it will be coming to PC. It's not a Sony exclusive, right? It's a third-party timed exclusive. Similar in vein to Rise of the Tomb Raider. That shit's going to be coming to Xbox, especially now that Phil sort of, I don't know, sweetened up to Square Enix. They seem to have mended the sort of relationship between Xbox and Square Enix because they weren't getting along before, right? So I don't count that as an exclusive. It's a timed exclusive, but I don't count it. And then you've got Spider-Man 2, which, while a great game, brilliant game, that's it. That's it. That's it. And sort of like this goes back to the point of context where Sony fans are more than happy to be, you've had no exclusives, Xbox, get down there, Big Phil with his big stupid head and his t-shirt changes. Oh yeah, no, you've got no games, no games, no. We've had one release, guys. Because I own a PlayStation 5. We've had one release in 12 months. Right, okay. So just to show you how bad it is. So PS5, this is PS5 exclusive coming in 2023. Right, okay. Season, say it's nearly over now, but you know, the only website that I could find. Season, A Letter to the Future, console exclusive. Never heard of it. Never. I'm sure it looks pleasant. The art style looks interesting. I'll be honest. I'll be ignorant. Never heard of it. Game's releasing for a PlayStation 4 and PS, right? So it's not even a PlayStation 5 exclusive. Okay, right. Forspoken. I mean, it's a timed exclusive. I mean, I forgot this game even existed. That were a shambles. Less said about that game, the better. Horizon Call of the Mountain VR. Okay. So I've not got a VR headset. I've not played VR. I've not played this game. I've heard sort of mixed things about it. I've heard people be positive about it. I've heard people be like, no, well, it's, you know, VR gaming's not quite there. Sony, one point I will take from this game, though, Sony have all but fucking abandoned the VR, haven't they? They've released the PS VR 2 and they've just said, right, well, you get Horizon for a couple of indie games and they've booked it off. They've been like, right, well, you know what I mean? Give us five, pay us. What was the price for the VR headset? It was more than the console, wasn't it? So you pay us more for the VR headset than the console that you're going to use it with. We're not going to give you wireless functionality. We're not going to give you sort of top. We're going to give you one game that might be a system seller, and that's it. They've all but abandoned it. They've with the platform, with the PlayStation platform in general, apparently. Right, that picture switchback VR. Never heard of it. I've not got VR, so I can't test it. Test to its quality. Stellar Blade, never heard of it. Might not have even come out this year. Never heard of it. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, not coming out this year, coming out next year. Very excited for it though. I do love Final Fantasy, so I'm very, very excited. Marvel Spider-Man 2, right. So that is the only PlayStation Studio release title on this list. One game. Okay, right. Final Fantasy 16, again, brilliant game, loved it, completed it. It's probably in my top 5 games that I've played this year. It's not it's not a PlayStation Studio. Next tab I've got up is games expected in 2024, right? Final Fantasy, we've already covered that. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth should be coming out next year. I don't think we've got that's our February. Yeah. Rise of the Ronin. The studio behind Ninja Gaiden, Team Ninja, right? I might be mistaken, but I'm not sure that Team Ninja are. I might be very ignorant. You'll have to correct me down in the comments. I think they're a third-party developer. They're not a PlayStation studio. I think it's probably a third-party exclusive. I'm not sure. I don't think it. Marvel's Wolverine. Right. Next one. Marvel's Wolverine. Fucking hooray for Insomniac. If you've got a PlayStation 5, and you see an employee of Insomniac, if you see a developer on Twitter or something, you say thank you. Because they are literally, I feel sorry for their backs and their shoulders. They are literally holding that platform up by themselves. By themselves. Spider-Man 2 last year. This year, sorry, but it's only come out like 2. Spider-Man 2 this year. Rift Apart, I think it was last year, or 2021. Miles Morales in 2020. Marvel Spider-Man in 2018. And then we've had Spider-Man 2 this year, and we're getting Wolverine next year. Apparently, well, we don't know for certain, but those are the rumours. Been releasing the game every year or two. Of quality as well. Not sort of like, oh, we'll release a game, it's up here, it's down there. In banger after banger every year. Insomniac, hats off to you, seriously. Insomniac are Sony. They are PlayStation at the moment, because every other developer, I don't know what is going on with them. I don't know what the hell is going on with the other studios, but we've heard nothing. So Wolverine. Death Stranding 2, again, it's probably going to be a time third-party exclusive, especially with Hideo Kojima's obviously talking about putting an exclusive on Xbox or something. It's like it's basic. What Kojima's doing at the moment is basically having games. He's an incredible game director. Don't get me wrong, but I don't like third party timed exclusives. For me personally, I just don't. Especially, it's like Final Fantasy. I think we'll see Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on Xbox, and we'll see Final Fantasy 16 on Xbox and PC and things like that. I don't like the idea of having established franchises that other people that were historically on those platforms taken away from people. Now I know Xbox is guilty of that, or is going to be guilty of that. To be fair, when they've started off, they've been all right. They've honoured the contracts. You bet your ass that the next Wolfenstein ain't going to be on PlayStation. The next Indiana Jones ain't going to be on PlayStation. Elder Scrolls, you can kiss that goodbye. Fallout. So I don't agree with that either, by the way. But that's their studio, right? It's a little bit different because they've bought the studio. I understand both viewpoints for that. So Death Stranding 2, that's going to be a time third-party exclusive game. I think the first one came to Xbox. Silent Hill 2 Remake, have zero faith in this. This is made by Bloober Team. So I have zero. I mean, it might be good. I'm not going to, but I've played Bloober Team. They're an okay developer, right? They're not someone that I would hand a historic franchise, one of the best survival horror games ever. I wouldn't hand that developer to the keys like handing someone who's just passed the test the key to your Lamborghini or something. You know what I mean? It's not, doesn't really make sense. You wouldn't do it. So not a fan of that. And that's it. That's it for next year so far. So I'm not saying that other things could be announced, but I'm just pissed off, guys. I'm really annoyed because I just wish, as a gaming community, we spend too much time idolizing and loving these little plastic boxes to the point where we're happy to have a go at other platforms. So Sony fans will happily have a go at Xbox, but then they'll just pretend everything's rosy in their own garden, like the shit don't stink. The gaming industry at the moment it's creatively bankrupt. Like I said earlier, it's creatively bankrupt. There is very rarely new IP coming out, and when it is new IP, because the amount of money, game developers now are getting pushed away from experimenting with new IP because the games themselves just cost so much money to make that they don't take the risk. Now, thankfully, there are still developers in the world like Larian Studios, like I've got to give my hats off, like CD Projekt Red. Obviously, they what they did, Cyberpunk wasn't great when it came out. Don't get me wrong, but the redemption arc of that, IP I've played this year. This is what I mean. It's all sequels. We are in the regurgitation. Not like Hollywood at the moment. They're just remaking films and they're just constantly same, going along with trends and stuff like that. We're in that era with games now. All get Ubisoft. Doesn't matter whether a Ubisoft game is called Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, fucking Hello Kitty Island Adventure. You know what that game's going to be before it even comes out. You know Star Wars Outlaws that's coming out next year, right? You know what that game's going to play like. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm not saying it's going to be a bad game, but we're just so creatively bankrupt. And it's just how can, just go back to The Last of Us, how can 2 games have 3 remasters in 2 console generations? Oh, sorry, 3. The Last of Us 1 came out at the end of the PS3 generation. Got a remaster the year after in 2014. Okay. And then you've got The Last of Us Part 2, which has already got an upgrade for PlayStation 5. And then you're going to sell one again for £10 if people already own the game, 70 quid to new customers. And then in the meantime, you're just distracted because the PlayStation 5, oh, it's selling really well. Oh, Xbox are doing shit. The games that PlayStation have are better. Well, I've got a fucking newsflash for you. They're about to not be, I think, with this live action, with this live. I keep saying live action, with this live service bollocks that they're going on about. So frustrated with it. Like I said, I've got a PC and I see 0 points. Anyone that can afford, I know consoles are obviously a cheap point of entry, but to anyone who's got a PC and can afford a good gaming PC, I wouldn't bother owning a console. Maybe a Switch. Their games ain't coming to PC. I wouldn't bother. I really wouldn't. I'm sick to death of them, to be honest. Whether it's the creatively bankrupt IP that they seem to offer, the constant sort of regurgitation of titles, the underperformance of certain titles. I think Spider-Man ran at like 800p or something up-resed. And again, it's an incredible game, but from a technological standpoint, how the fuck can you be in 2023 and have a game that's like 800p in performance mode? Or even worse, Final Fantasy 16, 720p in performance mode. Or playing at 720p on my Xbox 360. And I know resolution isn't everything, and I completely get that, but something feels rotten. The gaming industry as a whole, and I know I'm talking about Sony and Naughty Dog specifically today because they're the ones that have. Guys, I think they need. I think we need. I think it's going to get to a point. Fortunately, going to get worse before it gets better. Live service thing isn't going away. Sony are going all on in it. They're forcing the developers that historically are single player only developers and forcing them into making play games. I'm sick to death of it. And for like I say, if we were getting those single party experiences, if we were getting those single player games, we were getting I'm not saying you need to be releasing them every month, but maybe 2 or 3 a year or something like that from different studios, from different developers. I wouldn't have a problem with that. You said to me next year, oh, you're gonna get Wolverine and then you get another, I don't know, Killzone or something. I'd be like, yeah, okay, yeah, a couple of good exclusives or something like that. Yeah, it's fine. But one made by one developer, no, two, sorry, made by one developer. Fucking Spider-Man and Wolverine. That's it. All that's been announced so far. And Sony fans have got a cheek to say, "Oh, Xbox don't have any game." At least Xbox have had, say, "Oh, Xbox don't release it." Well, at least they've got something announced. I mean, at least they have released what they've released three games this year: Starfield, Forza, and Shadow dropped High Res. I think earlier. At least they've released more than one game from one studio. You know what I mean? It might the quality might be questionable, but at least they're trying. Sony, in the meantime, give you a PS5 VR2 headset that they've basically fucking buried. It's going to be like ET for them. It's going to be in desert because nothing to play on it. And then a PlayStation Portable that you can use. They've basically taken this, stuck a controller things on the side. Oh, great! I can go sit. My couch is over there, right? So what that allows me to play my PlayStation 5 in there. I can play it on my bed there. Get fucking vertebrae pain for me fucking stupid product, man. I really don't understand people defending it. And they're just brainwashed. They're just brainwashed. Anyway, I'm rambling. I said at the start of the video that it's probably being incoherent rant. Please share your opinions down in the comments below. Like I say, it might be me that's the fucking crazy one, right? It might be me that's getting all up hype for no reason, but I just feel I don't, like I said, because I'm so angry when I heard about that. I literally just finished work and I've heard about this and recorded it, and like I said, I knew this video was going to be a bit incoherent, so I apologise for that. But I'm just so annoyed. I'm so fed up of regurgitated shit year in, year out, and as gamers we're just swallowing it up because it's Sony. Like can you imagine if Xbox came out and says, "Oh yeah, we're remastering Gears of War 5 or something," these companies do not care about you as people. They only want your money. They're not bothered about your personal sort of vendetta, your personal sort of preference. They're not your family, and they're not your spouse. They're not even your football team. They don't care. They just want your money. And I think Sony at the minute are getting very, very, very comfortable. And I'm annoyed at them, but I'm also annoyed at Microsoft and Xbox as well. It pisses me off because we need competition, because if there's no competition, things like this happen. If you're seriously, as a gamer, if you're expecting Sony to come out, right, say for example, they come out and they're not going to be at E3 because they don't have E3 anymore. They've barely done any press conferences. I think they did one and it was this year and it was pathetic. You think they're going to come out next year and they're going to announce in, say, for example, E3 month or whatever it is, July, June or whatever it is usually. They're going to come out and they're going to announce like 2, 3, 4 exclusive for 2024. You're on drugs. They ain't going to do that. They ain't going to do that. You're going to get Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It's the same. Oh my fucking! It's the same as 2023. You're going to get a Final Fantasy earlier in the year, and you're going to get a Wolverine at the end. That's it. And they're going to say, you're fucking lucky to get that. You're lucky to get that. And then what they're going to do is they're going to have Bungie churn out live service game upon live service game upon live service game, and they're going to be, give me money. So if anyone, say I've got a dick's hair length worth of subscribers, right? I ain't Angry Joe. I ain't no. You know what I mean? I ain't no Angry Joe. I ain't no Skill Up. I ain't no Game Ranks or whatever. I'm lucky to have you guys watch it and subscribe. There's little people, but I do really appreciate it. That's what it's about. It's about creating a community, and it's about sharing your opinions with people and discussing opinions and views and sort of helping each other grow as people and just sharing, like I said, sharing community and having fun with each other. That's what it's about. But if anyone from Sony is listening to this, please. Drop this live service shit, man. Just stick to what you're good at. Like I said earlier in the video, I don't go to Burger King to order chicken McNuggets. I don't go to a tailor to build a PC. I could go on. I don't call me mum me dad. Although these days, no, but I just, like I say, I've finished work. I'm incoherent. I'm pissed off. I'm angry. Leave what you guys think down in the comments. It'd be interesting to get your guys' view. Like the channel if you agree. Dislike it if you don't. I'm sure it'll be quite sort of, how do I say, polarizing. But that's been me, guys. You know, like I said, just comment down below. Like the video. Let me know what you think. Hopefully, touch wood, I'll have an Alan Wake 2. That was what I was supposed to do that today. Supposed to do that later, you know. Finish off the script from my Alan Wake 2 review and obviously finish editing that and stuff like that. But instead, I get this shit on my screen. Oh, Last of Us 2 remastered. Anyway, I'm babbling. I'm gonna leave it there, guys. If you don't do any of the previous things, if you don't subscribe, if you don't like, dislike, comment, enjoy your day, guys. And like I said, just keep in mind what I've said. Regardless of the company, regardless of who, you know, what platform you play on, obviously, please have fun and enjoy your games because that's the most important part. You all have fun and we enjoy playing games with those we love, right? That's the point in gaming. However, please keep in mind what I said. If you're going to call out one company and you're going to show your dissatisfaction and vote with your wallet, that's the most important thing. Don't complain about things and then buy it. I ain't buying this shit. I ain't buying Last of Us Part 2. The remastered version, because it's had 2 remasters already, essentially. Vote with your wallet, guys. Keep the same energy, regardless of what company it is, and call it out because it's only you guys that can make a difference. If you don't say anything, you don't vote with your wallets, nothing will change, and we'll continue down this path, get to a point where something that we love dearly and we love doing, gaming, the whole, because that's what binds us, right? That's what puts us together. This is what creates this community. They're just gonna ruin it, man, through greed. Sad time. It's a sad time to be a video gamer.